Hello everyone and welcome back to my The Young and Restless 24 YouTube channel. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Before we start, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Sally Spector will hang Adam Newman while Phyllis Summers dances with Billy Abbott and Nick Newman loves Sharon Newman. It turns out there'll be some dreams and fantasies going on, so that'll bring some fun scenes and unanticipated romantic turns. For starters, let's talk about Adam, who'd love the chance to reunite with Chelsea Lawson and put their family back together. Unfortunately, Adam will be visited by the miscalculations he made with Sally, who'll pop up in his dream and remind him of all the pain he caused. This agony interpretation of Sally might make Adam question if he can really be the man Chelsea needs him to be. Still, Adam will end up featuring of some close moments with Chelsea as well, and that dream could come a reality if she eventually surrenders to what they're both feeling soon. As for Phyllis, it looks like she'll dream she's the bone on the romantic Paris flight with Billy. Those fantasy scenes will bring some dancing as Phyllis enjoys being the center of Billy's world, if only in her own mind. We all know Sharon's passions for Nick are further than platonic, so it seems she'll visualize about him seeing her and feeling the same way. Nick will kiss Sharon's hand and treat her like his queen, so she may be dissatisfied when she snaps back to reality. Sharon's romantic bubble should burst and leave her wondering if she's doomed to stay in the friend zone ever with Nick. Our prognostications point to some other surprise couples being included in this Valentine's Day occasion, so stay tuned for updates on further featured pairings. The Young and the Restless spoilers say love will get indeed messier than usual in Genoa City, so don't miss all the stunning news ahead. At Crimson Lights, Nick walks in and substantiates a tense moment between Summer and Sharon, who has just been telling his son how sorry she's about framing Daniel. Summer gets that effects be. Her drug was tampered with and she's relieved that she's okay. Faith went insane over it all. She also understands her pater, giving Sharon the benefit of the mistrustfulness, but she did lie and tried to frame Daniel for murder. She hid Bloody Apkins in his apartment and pretended to be Heather when she texted him. Because of Sharon, Lucy had to go out of city when her and Daniel were grieving. I'm sorry, it's just a little hard to get once all of that. Sharon feels the same way. When she thinks about what she did, she's affrighted. Nick asks Summer to give Sharon's perspective some study. She was cured and manipulated and isn't responsible for anything that happened. Summer sees that her father is determined to let her off the hook fully. She's not there yet and asks him not to push her. Sharon says Summer's entitled to her passions. She apologizes again. Summer reprises that she'll need some time. Sharon walks out and Nick follows. At Society, Daniel tells Phyllis he's willing to give Billy's business a shot. She cheers and promises he wouldn't lament this. Phyllis asks what made him say yes. He realized he'd nothing to lose, and as she refocused out, not a lot of options. Phyllis tells him they're the dream platoon and Billy has faith in him. Daniel really wants this to work out. Phyllis thinks they should tell Billy and pulls out her phone. Daniel reminds her that he's in Paris with Sally and this can stay until it gets back. Phyllis argues he wouldn't mind a phone call, he needs to know that Daniel's in. Daniel continues to protest. He's accepting zero responsibility for what happens if she calls. In Paris, Billy and Sally enter Ashley's Paris apartment and gush over it. Billy's glad his family is out of city and it's just the two of them. He tells Sally to take this as an expression of his appreciation for her assignation. She appreciates him accepting. He's sure Ashley feels bad for him after what happened with his mama. Changing his tune, Billy says, "No further woe is me." Sally agrees, it doesn't suit the surroundings. They kiss. Bill asks about Sally's work schedule, and she says she's all his for the rest of moment and tonight. He'd like to take her to some places off the beaten path and out for regale. They'll walk the Seine and also finish in a jazz bar. Sally teases that if he's not going to rent out the Eiffel Tower, she might as well go home. He throws food at her, and she threatens him with rubbish. Billy's phone rings, and he sees that it's Phyllis. He tells Sally it can stay until latterly, and they head out. At society, Phyllis leaves Billy a communication saying she has great news and asking him to get back to her. She and Daniel debate whether it's a romantic trip. Daniel insists that it's, and asks his mama to let them have many days to enjoy themselves. Phyllis reacts weirdly, so he asks what's going on. At Crimson Lights, Claire walks in and spots Summer. She notices her kinsman is in a good mood. Summer says she was looking at prints of Harrison's diorama. Claire says Kyle transferred her a picture last night and she called Harrison. Summer knows, she was there. Claire says Harrison has an cultural eye and perhaps gets it from her. She notes the three of them sounded to have a good time last night. Summer says Harrison really enjoyed having them together. She's sorry again that it ruined her regale plans. She must have been a little disappointed. On the yard, Sharon tells Nick it's going to be hard to get Daniel's family to forgive her. Nick says Summer is defensive of Daniel and her mama. She sees Aunt lash out at Jordan and Ian, so she's doing it to Sharon. The golden expedients there will come a day when they won't despise her. Nick advises her to give it some time. Sharon muses about doing some penance. Perhaps it's time she paid for the crimes she did commit. Nick says she doesn't need to do penance. She's paying enough of a price with the guilt she's feeling. He's sure time will heal the injuries. Sharon concedes that he made some good points. Nick suggests they go get breakfast. She'd love that. Inside, Claire understands why Kyle had to cancel their regale. Summer knows she was trying to get him together with their forefather and wishes her luck getting Victor to change his mind. Claire says Summer knows the history between the Abbotts and Newmans better than she does, but it seems extreme to her. Are Victor's passions justified? Nick interrupts to tell Summer he's going to society with Sharon. He tells Summer he loves her and takes off. Claire repeats her question to Summer, who says Kyle was bound to get caught in the middle of Victor and Jack's feud, but her forefather no way told her to stay down from him. Grandpa was actually really probative when Kyle and I were together. She's sorry it hasn't been the same for her. It's just business and timing. Claire wants to figure effects out between Kyle and Grandpa. Summer warns her not to push too hard. Kyle's sure Victor will no way accept them. It'll be an uphill battle. Claire says it's worth it to her to try. Summer tells her to go for it, perhaps she and Kyle will be suitable to change Victor's mind. There's a first time for everything. At society, Phyllis tells Daniel she doesn't like Sally at all. They're not indeed slightly musketeers. Daniel smiles, I heard you threw a pail of ice on her. He suggests she avoid her. Phyllis complains that every time she sees Billy, she's on him like the fungus. She's concerned she'll tell negatives to Billy about her job performance. She recalls that she manipulated Summer into moving to Milan. Daniel points out she's moved past that and hired her at Marchetti. Phyllis is end over it and worries Sally's taking pot shots at her right now. Daniel says they're presumably not indeed allowing about her. Why is she so concerned about what Billy thinks about her? He wouldn't change his opinion of her because Sally doesn't like her. Phyllis complains that they wouldn't indeed be together if Chelsea and Adam hadn't cheated on them. It's a bad idea. Billy deserves better. Daniel frowns, meaning what, exactly? Daniel asks if his mama thinks she's a better option for Billy than Sally. Phyllis says that's ridiculous. Daniel says neither of them should be working with Billy if she wants to date him. Phyllis exclaims that the idea is ridiculous. They're just musketeers and she's trying to make sure he's distraction-free. Sally's a distraction at stylish. At worst, she's pure destruction. In Paris, Billy and Sally come into the apartment laughing after getting caught in the rain. They kerchief out and she asks if he wants to hunch down and stay in. He supposes they can do the jazz bar another night. They meditate about chancing commodity to do indoors and kiss and spoon. Billy takes Sally into the bedroom, and she slips off her dress straps as he undoes his shirt. Kissing passionately, they keep undressing and fall onto the bed to make love. In society, Phyllis tells Daniel no more talking about Billy and Sally. She asks what he'd like to do at Abbott Dispatches. He'd like to recognize Heather's memory. She loved tykes and karaoke, though she had a horrible voice. Daniel turns sad, and Phyllis asks if he's alright. He's just staying for the remembering not to hurt so much. He wants the recollections of Heather to bring him joy, not hurt. Phyllis assures her son that effects will get better. I promise you there's stopgap. They're teaming up and nothing will stop them. Just also, Nick and Sharon walk in. Nick greets Daniel and Phyllis, as does Sharon. They do and answer the golden. Phyllis suggests Nick check Sharon's flapjacks for PCP. Sharon complains to Nick about people abhorring her. It reminds her of everything she did. It's the least I earn. Nick thinks it's part of that penance she's talking about. Seeing Daniel and his family and feeling shamefaced is a discipline. Sharon isn't sure it's enough. At their table, Daniel complains about Phyllis's comment. She says she could have done worse and is reining herself in at his request. Daniel feels they should get the check. Phyllis agrees. Across the room, Nick tells Sharon they added mimosas to the menu and reminds her of the time he made them for her but used beer. Sharon laughs, it was disgusting. Nick is happy to hear her laugh. Sharon hasn't been suitable to for a long time. She suggests they get some mimosas. He teases, we could presumably wouldn't be as good as mine however. At Crimson Lights, Summer thanks Claire again for putting her plans on hold last night. It meant a lot for them to spend time together as a family. She suggests Claire not worry too important about effects between her and Kyle. Effects will work out exactly how they're supposed to. In bed in Paris, Sally tells Billy this is the first time she's ever made love in Paris. He says, me too. Or at least it felt like the first time. They agree it was magical after the rainfall and kiss. He thinks the rain has stopped and asks if they should go out on the city.